Well, Honorable Mliswa, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you, obvious listeners. Join us live. I know which part of the world you're logging in from. The former Norton MP, the fiery MP, and the former chairperson of the Portfolio for Mines in the Parliament of Zimbabwe, Temba Mliswa, has been elected vice president. A lot of people are clicking that link. I was checking in the stats there. A lot of people are curious. And it is quite a curious development here because for a while people concluded that Temba Mliswa has retired and now he is now a Sabuku. But anyway, Honorable Mliswa, we've just seen the announcement. You are now vice president of a Pan African body on anti corruption. Please take us through what this means and how you receive this.
Now, first of all, I'm grateful to the opportunity I was given by Zimbabweans to represent them, Horungwa West constituency, Norton constituency, equally Parliament itself, for having given me the opportunity to serve as chairperson of the Sports and Education Committee in 2013, the mining development in 2016, and in 2018, the mining development as a standalone. And actually, also as somebody who debated in Parliament on a lot of issues, the key issue being the corruption. I think when you're in Parliament, you represent people and what worries and concerns people and avoids them from being a nation that benefits from its resources, from good governance, transparency, and accountability. You have to stand up. I always said, okay, I've come to Parliament to do what? I've come here to represent the people, and the concerns of the people come first. You call that national interest, and of course, the aspect of corruption, as you'd appreciate, has definitely been a scourge which has affected the growth of nations, the suffering of people, and so forth. It should be tackled head on while it fights. This is great for me, especially coming from Zimbabwe and being amongst these great nations, West Africa, North Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa itself. It's amazing that we are able to achieve this as a country. This is just not for me, but it's for the country. And I think it speaks volumes of who we are as a people and all that. And I'll always remember that I have people that I must stand for. And this is at continental level. Corruption is fast growing, it's fast taking over, it equally fights back. And it needs people who are determined to also face it. That also talks about your morality as a person, the values and the principles that you have. You've got to have your own checking system to also see that are you fit enough to represent people in this forum. If you're not fit enough, you cannot be in it. I've always been fit to represent people on issues of corruption, and integrity and dignity is equally important when you pursue this.
Please take us through the organization briefly. What does it do? What are its what is it? Its mandate. What is its membership? How
No,
many
it's born
countries
out
does it
of the
consist?
United
Yes.
It is born out of the United Nations against corruption. So it's a protocol which starts from United Nations against corruption. And from there, it comes down to Africa. And this is the one that aligns itself with the United Nations, which is the African Parliamentary Network Against Corruption, which has most of the African countries involved from a regional perspective to country by country joining. It also works with the Global Parliamentary Action Against Corruption, which is GOPAC. So there's the global one, they've got United Nations, you've got GOPAC, global parliamentarians against corruption. You then go to APNAC, then you go to the regional ones. You've got the Southern African Parliamentary Network Against Corruption, which I chair, and then you've got the country chapter itself. So each parliament has that chapter. If not, then they're definitely aiding to corruption. And there will be an index which points out to how well they're performing from a corrupt perspective. It's chaired by the Speaker of Benin, who is also a key advocate in the drive against corruption. Parliaments are very much involved, who make the law, because you're also working with parliamentarians so that you are able to come up with laws that will ensure that we curb the issue of corruption at the end of the day. You also work with various state institutions, from anti-corruption institutions, law enforcement agents, the Attorney General's office, the Prosecutor General's office, the police itself. And you have to come up with enabling laws that ensure that they are dealing with corruption. You are complementing each other. At the same time, there's a checking system. So this now is from an African perspective, and I have to make sure that my country equally is seen to be doing well in the fight against corruption. The institutions are there, the legislators are up to it, and the region as well. So it's a mammoth task, not easy, but like I say, already I am a Sabuk, I'm a traditional leader. I've inculcated that system in my village to say that we have to do things correctly, whether we're getting inputs or not. There's no double dipping, and things have got to be done properly. So where I sit, there cannot be corruption. I sit on the Zimbabwe Rugby Board. I expose corruption because I am an advocate for fighting corruption. I cannot be part of a system or an institution which is aiding corruption. That I cannot. And even the people in my village know that even the village heads I work with know that corruption stops when they see me. They must see me as a police for fighting corruption, for the betterment of the people.
Right. Okay. So, how long is your tenure going to last? 6 months, a year, two? Maybe just briefly, maybe conclude on that. Yeah. And yeah, thank you.
The meeting resolved that there's a 4-year term. I think in November that constitution is being effected, and we take over from there. A term of 4 years, we take over from there. So it's a continuation, because the terms were 2 years, but the board realized that you cannot achieve anything within 2 years. In fact, you'll be starting work. So for 4 years, we will be definitely together to ensure that we drive this agenda home.
Well, Honorable Mliswa, I don't know if you've got any last remark because I need to leave you to dash off. Any
No, my last
connecting
remarks are
words to?
that countries who are not part of the original chapter for corruption, who are not part of APNAC, who are not part of the GOPAC or part of United Nations, will be left behind. They must join, and they must be seen to be fighting corruption, because it is there and it is reality. At the same time, the SADC region itself, southern region, must fight. The northern region must fight. The central region must fight. The western region must fight and expose. So we implore all the institutions, especially Parliament, to expose corruption. The Auditor General's office is critical in us producing facts, in us ensuring that the reports that they are giving to the public, submitting, are proper reports, and they're interrogated to its fullest. The Auditor General report in most countries has been good in guiding and exposing corruption and expenditure. So all levels of institutions in any country are subject to oversight by the parliamentarians. But again, the parliamentarians themselves must have integrity and dignity. At the same time, the resource which must be afforded to people fighting corruption must be a resource which makes them do their work, not a resource which makes them not do their work so that they are compromised. We'll be advocating for that, because the Auditor General's office must be given a certain percentage of the budget. 1 to 3%. How much is being given to the law enforcement agents to be able to combat corruption? If they're not given enough, we will continue with this scourge of corruption. Let us resource the people who are fighting corruption with money coming in from the fiscus. And that is something that we'll be pushing for too.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Melissa. We're going to be shutting now. I've got some people asking, how can I get the Honorable Melissa? I think let's allow Honorable Melissa to go for now, so that he can get off, because he's on a journey, and then maybe when we host him
Thank you
tomorrow,
very much.
yeah,
I need to get home and see my, I think, 20 kids. Thank you. Bye
wonderful.
bye. I've been away. Cheers.
Right. Cheers, Honorable Melissa. Thank you very much.
Bye. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is Semi Media, broadcasting all round the world, on the spot, on the dot.
Honorable Melissa telling me that he needs to dash off and go and see his 20 kids. And you folks want him to stay. Let's get to CS and then we'll connect later on during the week. Hopefully, you can have more time with him, and yeah. you interact. Folks, I know some people had already joined on Twitter. We'll have to cut and then let you connect later on during the week. I'm sure you can, you will be able to communicate with the MP. Thank you.